Good day and welcome to our asynchronous class in quantitative methods. This is my first video lecture for this subject. Quantitative methods. Most of the lessons in quantitative methods were able to discuss when you were in grade 11 in the subject statistics and probability. The subject which is I am also teaching in this semester in grade 11. So here in quantitative methods, it's not just more on computations, it is more on using the softwares, especially Microsoft Excel and the JASP, so that you can easily compute the statistics. And then you can apply it when you go to work, especially in fields like accountancy, in fields of manufacturing industries, and many more industries, so that you cannot compute it manually. But our lessons will focus first on the manual computations, and then later I will be introducing to you some softwares or maybe several softwares that we will be using for fast computation of data. Okay, so first topic that we will have is the frequency table. This is the most common and most simple in, let's say, interpreting the data that we have gathered as a researcher. Okay, so this is more on descriptive statistics, frequency table. Let us have right away the examples. For example, you are a teacher, or anyone can be a researcher. Okay, can be a researcher who gathers the data and interpret the data. The most common example is the teacher. Okay, let us consider 30 test scores of students in statistics. The results are as follows. Okay, so you'll have 98, 97, 92, and so on. These are the scores of all students in statistics, 30 students. So our main goal here is to create a frequency table so that you can easily interpret those students, easily interpret the number of students who has high scores or the number of students who have lower scores. Okay, so first thing that you need to do is to find the range. Okay, so the range, I know you are familiar with the range. You're going to subtract the highest number that you can observe in the set of data that we have minus the lowest datum. In this case, we have 99 as our highest, and the lowest is 76. Okay, so we are just going to simply subtract it right away. So 99 minus 76, range is 23. Okay, that is the distance from the highest to lowest. That is the range of the data. Okay. Next is compute for k, which is the desired number of class interval. So in the frequency table, you may have many class intervals like from 1 to 10, 11 to 20, 21 to 30, and so on. But we have a suggested number of desired class intervals or number of class intervals so that we can use the nature of data that we have. For example, in this data, we only have the range of 23. So we will be having only 6 class intervals. How were we able to compute it? We are just going to use the formula k is equal to 1 plus 3.3 times log times the number of observations. So you can easily use it in a calculator, or if you do not have calculator, you can use cell phones, or you can use Google. You can search Google 1 plus 3.3 times log times n. You're just going to type it in the Google search bar. Okay, so n here is the number of observations, which is 30 because we have 30 data. Okay, we have 30 data here. So you're just going to substitute 30, type it in the calculator, and then you will have 5.87. Since we are going to find the number of class intervals, so we are just going to convert it or round it off to whole number. 5.87 becomes 6. Next, step 3. You need to find the class size of each interval. So class size in this case is 4. Formula is C is equal to range divided by K. So you have range here, which is 23, divided by K, which is 6, or the desired number of class intervals. Then you will have the class size of 4. So we now have three values. Class size, which is 4, and then number of class intervals is 6, and the range is 23. And we are ready now to create our frequency table. So in our frequency table, you can start ascending or descending. Okay, but at this time in researches, we are suggesting that you are going to use descending from 99 to 96 and so on. So how are we going to do this? First is we have 99 as our highest, and then we know that the class size or the class interval or the interval per class size is 4. So we are just going to count here 99, 98, 97, and 96. So that is now the class size that we have computed here. Next is another class interval. Take note, this 96 to 99 is what we call class interval. Another here, 92 to 95 is class interval. While class size is the range or the numbers that are included in this bracket. In this case, we have 4. So count 99, 98, 97, and 96. And then another interval, you're going to start with 95. No repetition, okay? So 95, 94, 93, 92. And then another class interval, 91, 90, 89, 88. So you have 4 and so on. Then you can now create your own frequency table. This is very useful when you have many set of data. And then it is very hard for you to tally all these 30. Okay, you have 30. How much more you have millions of data. So we are going to use Microsoft Excel in another video or another lesson one day. Okay, maybe we can have Zoom classes one day. Yeah. So you have class intervals, and then you also have class boundaries. Yeah. Class boundaries are used for computations in median or maybe in mode. Okay, so we can use this later. So in constructing class boundaries, we are just going to have subtracted, or we are just going to subtract 76 by 0.5. Then you will have 75.5, and then add 0.5 on the upper boundary, which is 79. So 75.5 to 79.5 and so on. Okay. While we have here the class mark, this is the representation of the intervals or each interval so that you can find the mean and other statistics. Okay, statistical treatments. So you have 76 to 79. We are just going to simply find the mean or the average of this range, 76 to 79. So what we need to do is to add 76 and 79. That will be equal to 155. So 155 divided by 2, that is equal to 77.5. This is now our class mark. The same process that we are going to do here. 80 plus 83 divided by 2, that is 81.5, and so on. So again, you have the class boundaries, you also have the class marks. And then you are now going to proceed to tallying the data here. So you have here 76 to 79. Okay, we're going to count. Okay, for example, let us count the first intervals here. 76 to 79, can we spot? So we have here 76, 70, include that the numbers here, the data here that are part of this class interval. It could be 76, 77, 78, 79. So we have 77. Can we find more? There are no more data that are included in this class interval. So we are going to have 2. How about 80 to 83? So we can find it here, okay, and so on. I know you can easily locate as long as it is equal to 80 or greater than 80, but equal to 83 and less than 83. Okay. So let me erase the writings on the screen. Okay. Next is you are going to find the frequency. Yeah. Since you already have the tallied number of data, then you can convert it now to a number form. So 2, 5, 5, 11, 4, and 3. And make sure to check if your frequencies are correct. You are just going to add all of these and then it should be equal to 30. Okay? And this is now the final step in creating the frequency table. So this is now your class intervals. Again, you need to use the step 1, 2, and 3. Do not forget. And then find the class boundaries. Just subtract 0.5 and add 0.5. And then class mark is the average of these two, 76 plus 79 divided by 2, that is 77.5. And then the tally, and then the frequency. And then this one is cumulative frequency. Okay, you can start from the lowest. Okay, this is less than. Okay, so frequency, cumulative frequency less than or ascending order. So 2. This is now the purpose of cumulative frequency is to check if you really have the correct number of frequencies. So let us check 2, or you must start here with the first frequency, which is 2. You're going to add 2 and 5. So 2 plus 5, that is 7. And then 7 plus 5, that is 12. 12 plus 11, that is 23. 23 plus 4, that is 27. 27 plus 3, that is 30. Therefore, your frequency is correct. Okay. Next is you can also use a descending order from 30 minus 7. 30 minus 2, that is 28. 28 minus 7, that is 23, and so on. And then we have here the relative frequency. This is important, okay, as well as the relative frequency percentage, so that you will know the number of, or this, let's say the percentage of this certain class intervals. So how to find the relative frequency? Okay, so you are just going to simply subtract the frequency by the total number of observation or frequency, which is 30. So 2 divided by 30, that is equal to 0.0667. The same also here. 5 divided by 30, that is 0.1667. 7, and so on. And in order for you to convert it into percentage, you are just going to simply multiply it by 100. So 0.0667 times 100, that is 6.67. The same process that you are going to do here, here, and the rest, and so on. Okay, so as you can see here, we have aligned, okay, aligned interpretation. We have here 36.67% is the most occurring, and it is very evident because we have here the number of tally of data, we have 11, and here. Therefore, the mean, if you're going to be asked of the mean, then it is 89.5 or somewhere here in this class interval from 88 to 91. Therefore, you can interpret that most of the students or the average performance of the students in that certain test, particular test in um, statistics is 89.5 or in between 88 to 91. And we can say that most of the students are performing well, they are performing well. Okay, so that is the end of our discussion for our first lesson. Kindly watch the next lesson so that you can answer the activities. Thank you so much.